Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and it's time to get back in the win column for your Seattle Seahawks. Facing the Tennessee Titans could not have come at a better time. They are absolutely horrific. I mean, just look, the Seahawks are going into this one on the road, and they're still favored by 13 in this matchup. I think that the Seahawks are going to be able to use the Titans as a get-right game, as well as an opportunity to exercise some demons. I cannot emphasize this point enough. It is the perfect time to play the Titans. You just played a grueling matchup against an NFC West rival. You didn't come out on top. Now the media has been going after you, your quarterback, and now I just feel like Ernest Jones. I want to tell everyone to stay the F away. You know what I mean? At this point, you got to feel pretty good if you're a Seahawks fan. It's the perfect time to play the Titans, but we don't want to jinx it here on Seahawks Today. So if you want the Seahawks to beat the Titans, go and like this video. Don't jinx it. Don't put the Seahawks in a chance to fall in a trap game. Only one team's lost to the Tennessee Titans. That'd be the Arizona Cardinals. Don't let the Titans get their second victory against the NFC West. All right, so we're going to do this preview a little bit differently. I'm going to dive into the matchups that I want to watch before I get into the injury report. And the first matchup that I want to watch, just because it's going to be fun. It's going to be like watching a senior in high school go up against an 8th grader on some O-line Oklahoma type drills. And that's going to be the Seahawks defensive line against rookie QB Cam Ward and the rest of that Titans offensive line. So far this year, the Titans have allowed 41 sacks of their quarterback. Right now, they just can't keep Cam Ward upright. Now, some of it is on Cam Ward. He's a scrambling quarterback, so he's not afraid to run around a little bit. He's not afraid to hold onto the ball a little bit longer so that he can make a big-time play. But I'll tell you right now, if your name isn't Peter Skoronski, this Titans O-line cannot block anything. Then you're going to look at the Seahawks sack leaders, and where most teams, the Cleveland Browns, have one key sack player, one key sack getter, a.k.a. Myles Garrett, the Seahawks, they have a multitude. They don't have anyone that jumps off the page at you, no one that's completely eye-popping. But what I will say that the Seahawks do have is a multitude of guys who can come after you from a variety of different spots. Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy from the inside. Now, Leonard Williams can also play on that outside edge. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's always getting pressure. And even though Uchenna Nwosu against the Rams didn't record a lot of true blue stats, if you watch the game, you know that he was very impressive, getting a lot of knockdowns on Matt Stafford's balls. The Seahawks, they didn't get a sack last week. I was able to reuse the graphic that I made the week before going into this Rams game. So I knew it would be 100% accurate. They're going to fix that. I promise that the Seahawks are going to change their sack numbers in this game. You know you're going to get a defense that's fired up, they're pissed off, and they want to get after Cam Ward. You're also going to play a quarterback in Cam Ward that has not seen a Mike McDonald type of defense yet. It's confusing. It's hard to figure out pre-snap. Cam Ward's going to be in a rough one, so is that offensive line for the Tennessee Titans. The second matchup I'm excited to watch features this guy. Kenneth Walker and the rushing attack of the Seattle Seahawks against the defensive line of the Tennessee Titans. Now, there's a couple of different reasons that I want to watch this matchup, but let's first dive into the running back himself, Kenneth Walker. As you can see through the year that he has had, he's basically going to be right on track for getting to that 1,000-yard mark again. His average is continuing to rise up. I thought he was very impressive, Walker, that is, running in between the tackles this last week. Now, it does help Olu Oluwatimi, a little bit more of a road grader. Going to be harder to get the edge on the cutbacks because Jalen Sundell, he was more of a long zone scheme type of center. He was able to get out, get reaches, get to linebackers. Olu Oluwatimi's not going to do that, but what Oluwatimi can do is push the pocket, push that hole up in the middle, go after some of those interior defensive linemen. Now, the Titans do have a good defensive tackle. Let's just be honest about that. Simmons, kid's a dog. Absolute beast. The rest of this defense, they're the least. They suck. Right now, they're giving up a whopping 135 basically yards per game. That's what the Seahawks have been averaging over their last 4 opponents. They're just running all over the Tennessee Titans, basically at 5 yards a clip and then getting 15 TDs. Man, this defense in Tennessee, they can't stop a cold. I cannot wait to see Kenneth Walker really run through, get wild, have a gigantic game in this one. I also think it's the perfect time for the offensive line to kind of gel, work out some kinks, because you're going to have some moving pieces going into that offensive line unit. You're going to have a couple different spots, a couple guys that aren't completely there, 100% aren't, completely ready, haven't got a lot of game time. Olu Oluwatimi is one of those guys. I can't wait to see how this offensive line progresses against the Titans. And I think it all leads to a big game for Kenneth Walker. I think that he is starting to peak at the exact right time. You're starting to see bigger runs from the kid. And I think that this offensive line is gelling. Now, obviously, it's a different style of rushing attack than what you had when you were going up against the Rams or when you were looking at this team earlier on in the season with Jalen Sundell. But I think you can use and abuse that Titans defensive line even without one of your better players on that offensive line unit. I'm going to get into the injuries here in just a moment, but I want you to help us. We're trying to reel in the Miami Dolphins here at Chat Sports. Subscribe to the channel. The Dolphins, they were 5,000 subscribers ahead of us at the beginning of the season. Look at that. Look at that. We're basically within 2,000 of them, and the Dolphins suck. We want to make sure that we pass the Miami Dolphins today here at Chat Sports. Help us by subscribing to the channel. We're reeling them in. Slowly but surely, we're reeling them in. Next, we're going to get into some key injury news for the Seattle Seahawks and if I think it will affect this game. But before I do, I need to let you know about the good friends over at PrizePicks, and they are the proud sponsor of today's video. The hard-hitting football action is even better with PrizePicks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections. If your picks are right, you could cash in. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. PrizePicks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones are overhyped. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on PrizePicks. I have a little 3-pick power play for this weekend's action. Cam Ward against this defense, less on his pass yards. JSN, more on his reception yards. And Rashid Shaheed, more on his receiving yards there. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. I'll just be honest. I'm not worried about any of the injuries. I don't care about the Gray Zabel injury in this matchup. I don't care about Julian Love being on IR. I don't care about Jalen Sundell being on IR. I don't care if Torrey Horton comes back in this game. I don't care if you have to give Ernest Jones some extra time. I don't care if there's any other players on this team that need to take some extra time off for this matchup. The Tennessee Titans are not good enough to play with you. That's my official stance. You can go and send this video to Old Takes Exposed because it ain't going to happen. The Seahawks are better than the Titans in every facet of the game. You outclass them. You outclass them in the coaching staff. You outclass them at quarterback. You outclass them at running back. You outclass them at wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, cornerback room, safety room, and linebacker room. You are the better team. I'm not saying that you can roll out of bed and beat the Tennessee Titans, but you can pretty darn close do that in this matchup. Don't be shocked if the Seahawks really let out some demons on the offensive side and the defensive side as well. Crystal ball time now. Every single time we do a preview, I ask for your predictions. What do you think the final score of this matchup is going to be? Do you have the Seahawks winning? Do you have the Titans winning? Let me know down below in the comments. And here's my prediction, man. 35-7. This should be an old-fashioned BTA butt whooping. Your Seahawks should dominate the Tennessee Titans. They're just not good enough to play with you. They're not a good team. They are the worst team in the NFL. They've already fired their coach. They might fire their interim by halftime of this game. They're not good. They play conservative football, which makes them even worse and tighter. They are not a good team. You should dominate them, no matter what the circumstances are. Hey, hopefully I didn't give the Seahawks the announcer's jinx there, but to offset that just in case, you want the Seahawks to beat the Titans, like this video. Go hit that thumbs up button don't jinx it. I said it twice because I think it's super important. Help us out here. Like the video. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.